All right, friends. Oh, and there's a kitty. Meow, meow, meow. Come on, girl. You're gonna be a good girl. Are you gonna be a good girl? While I'm recording. Okay, so experimental. What I'm looking at is the part of the brain, and not just the brain. It's this here. Proprioception, also called kinesthesia, and this is our ability to process where we are, where our body is dimensionally in space. And the reason that I'm focusing on this proprioception and the proprioceptors, which are the neurons in the muscles and in the joints and tendons that process information about our body's position in space and then transmit through our nervous system that dimensional information. Why that's important to my work is because if you've been following my work for the past 8 or 9 years or so, but definitely the past 6 years, where I've been focusing primarily on what is taking place in my brain and in my nervous system when actual remote viewing is taking place and what is actually happening. Well, that's what this is, the continuation of that. So this is what in my exploration I've found from my experiences with remote viewing and then doing research as to what parts of my brain that I'm experiencing that are stimulated by the input or by the location or the quote-unquote target. And just to clarify what I mean, because somebody was asking, what do I mean when I say I don't care about the target or that the target only serves as a stimulus only? What I mean by that is that in these exercises, I am not looking to develop a perceptual relationship with the target where I'm experiencing things emotionally, going deeper and getting pulled in to the experience. All I'm looking for is what parts of my brain and my central nervous system are being stimulated by the input. And so my declaration that I don't care about it is to let myself know that I am not looking to get caught up in this, whatever's happening at this location. So that's what I mean by that. That's what I'm talking about. That's why I say it, I declare it, so that when I go into the experience, I know that this is not going to be one of those. You want to see those where I'm fully engaged, just I got 350 videos, I got tons of those. These are not that. So, all right, anyway, so here is the target, the target. It is an American Indian dancing ceremony, and I'm blind to the target. I have no idea what the target is. I'm looking for the stimulus. This is what I want to experience in this session, but a bunch of other things came through as well, so we'll go into that as we see what the hell happened here. Experiment 5164. 5164. Yes, the flipping of the pen is part of the process, every movement that I make is everything that I say is deliberate. I'm stimulating various parts of my brain with everything that I'm doing, including um, doing certain exercises prior to going into the session, again to stimulate my central nervous system because I want to have a proprioception experience. So I'm stimulating those neurons and experimenting on how much stimulation I can apply before it becomes before it overrides the input.
The attempt, the goal, is to obtain a sense of dimensionality at this location. I do feel like the input has been acquired.
Meaning that I haven't done any ideograms or anything like that, but I can feel inside of my central nervous system and various parts of my brain, I can feel that something, a stimulus has been acquired and I can feel it.
I do want to examine my proprioceptors. In proprioception, I have done a small amount of exercise prior to this session, so my central nervous system and the neurons in my muscles are already stimulated, so I will see how that affects the proprioception
Experience
of the dimensionality that I can experience at this location virtually.
That's right.
Virtual proprioception. Virtual proprioception.
Just came up with that.
Virtual. Test. Virtual proprioception. Yeah, virtual proprioception.
Virtual meaning that my central nervous system and my brain are beginning to respond to the location elements, but I'm obviously not there, so my experience of it is a virtual experience.
Five, 164. That felt sharp and pointy and metallic. Possibly a combination between the proprioceptors and temporal lobe. And my temporal lobes, or my temporal lobe, left temporal lobe.
More than a combination of memory comparator and idea generation.
5164. That was a nice loop.
It definitely was.
That was a nice loop.
Yes, it was.
Feels energetic.
Definitely did.
Energetic. like movement, movement, high energy. Oh man, this is a combination. It's a little bit like there's high energy, like people, maybe they got their arms up, something here man-made, high excitement kind of a thing. This feels like an entropy target. It feels like an entropy target because there's an excitability. Okay, there's an excitability, so there's several things happening. There's proprioception. There is aesthetic, an emotional sensation that is high.
Okay, so basically, going into this, I'm looking for proprioception. I'm looking for my sense of dimensionality. But going into this target, there is dimensionality, but there's also energy because they're dancing here. It's a ceremonial dance, and so there's aesthetic. There's an emotional component here, and so both of those things are happening now. So I'm not. I'm looking for going into it. Well, I never know what's going to happen, but the goal was the dimensionality. But now I'm feeling this is great because various parts of my brain are getting stimulated now, because now there's an aesthetic, a pure emotional sensation that I'm feeling here as well. So that made it a lot more interesting.
High emotion. High emotion. Okay, so that's a sophisticated process. The high emotion, that's a more sophisticated process. The dimensional sense of the proprioception, my propriosensors.
The nerves in my
feel
muscles.
Close, almost claustrophobic. People real close, almost on top of each other. There's excitement, high emotion. Now the emotions, this is more of there's the dimensional sense, but that's not the main part of my brain that is being stimulated. It's amygdala.
Quite possibly.
Amygdala. This is more in the amygdala. For that. Multiple parts of my brain are 5164. 5164. 5164. Yeah, that's energy. This is an energetic target. I could get swept up. It's got a pull to it, It's got a large attractor, an aesthetic attractor that wants to override my proprioception experience. My proprioceptors are getting overridden by amygdala, but not just my amygdala. Temporal lobe. Interesting.
Okay. Let me back that up a little bit. Somewhere back there. So here, the proprioceptors in my joints and muscles and tendons, sending impulses of my sensory stimuli. The vestibular system, again, the sensory system here is where I'm experiencing spatial orientation. This is part of the proprioception. This is a great way to put it. Spatial orientation, or what I've termed for many years, dimensional sensations. Mechanosensation. Again, this is where the proprioceptors are processing sensory input into neural. This is it. Is the transduction of mechanical stimuli into neural signals. And I also was experiencing in this one some activity in my temporal lobe, probably on the left-hand side there, as I was dealing with memory comparators, as I was having the aesthetics, and also what I was feeling was the amygdala as well. Because in those two areas here, in the amygdala and the temporal lobe, is where I felt I was feeling the stimulation with this one, because there was an emotional element, there was an energetic element, and there was an idea generation element. So other parts of my brain were being activated in this one, not just the dimensionality of it. So the amygdala is very cool. That's something that I'm going to explore more, as far as, when it comes up. I don't know what these targets are. This one just happened to be one that I had that I felt the emotional sensations there with these. This is an American Indian dance ceremony. So this has a lot. I reacted very strongly to this one. So that's it for this one. I have another one that I did earlier today too, and that one has a lot more of the idea generation in it too. My goal going into a couple of experimentals today was a proprioception, but all kinds of other stuff happened too. So other parts of my brain said, "Nah, we're going to do this today." So that's it for this one. Many more to come. Thanks so much for watching.